My father-in-law sent a couple of guys to check at Make My Trip office कि ये करते क्या है.
Today on CXO Mantra, we have founder and CEO of Park Plus, Amit Lakhotia. How long did it take for you to park your car here?
I have met a number of people who asked me कि I make correspondence से किया क्या. Car is the second most expensive asset. So idea was always like business करना है.
Is car parking a problem for you? What if I tell you that you don't have to wait in long queues and can actually book your parking spot well in advance? Today we have Amit Lakhotia with us, the founder and CEO of Park Plus, the super app for car owners. Buying a car can be one of the biggest milestones for some individuals or families. It equates to a sense of lifestyle upgrade. However, the real burden of owning a car isn't all fancy. In the heart of our cities, where not only every second counts, but also every square foot of space lies a never-ending challenge, parking, frustration of finding a spot, and the sinking feeling when you realize the nearest one is several blocks and countless GPS instructions away. With the simple yet powerful idea of making car ownership free of numerous challenges related to parking, cleaning, maintenance, and traffic challans, Amit Lakhotia and Hitesh Gupta started Park Plus. What started as a mission to connect commuters with parking spaces across the country has now expanded to being a safe space to cater to people's car-related needs, from insurance renewals to fast-tech-related issues and challan payments and so on. Get ready to park your worries and embark on a journey through the wild world of urban parking, where every spot tells a story and every driver daydreams of finding that perfect parking spot quickly and effortlessly. Today we'll meet the man behind the idea, Amit Lakhotia, founder and CEO Park Plus. Welcome up.
Thank you.
To begin with, I would like to know how long did it take for you to park your car here?
Last time I came without an invite, it took me 15 minutes. Today, thankfully, everything was sorted.
For starters, tell us what Park Plus actually does and how does it make ownership of a car smooth for the owner?
Car is the second most expensive asset for any individual after
Right.
home. And it's an emotional asset. But the day-to-day experience around owning the car,
Right.
which would be like car wash doesn't happen in the morning, बंदा नहीं आया, आप रोड पे हो, चलान्स हो रहे हैं, आप ऑफिस पहुंचे, पार्किंग नहीं मिल रही है. Similarly, like you don't know why one insurance company charges you 25,000 rupees for your insurance, दूसरी 40,000 charge करती है आपको, you don't know.
Right.
So as a car owner, I feel very frustrated that मेरी जो जितने problems है around car की, उसका कोई solution नहीं. So what we thought was that for a car owner, can we stitch all these things together on a single platform and make sure that whenever he has anything to do with his car, then he remembers Park Plus.
Okay, so Amit, in a layman language, if I go to a gated society or a complex for that matter, usually I'm supposed to write down my details, look for a parking spot, which is very difficult. So how will Park Plus will be my savior here?
So for example, if I invite you at my place, then it is very easy for you to go on Park Plus app, see if there are visitor parkings available, not
Okay.
available.
Okay.
So first of all, that thing. Then secondly, gradually our idea is to democratize parking. What does that mean? Like enough of people would be at office at this time.
Right.
Enough of the people would not be using their parking slots.
Correct.
Gradually, is there a possibility if those parkings can be made available to anybody who is coming
In the society.
in the society?
That's
Whether
right.
it is society, and if you look at India, like the way
Correct.
it is built, there is a society, then there is a corporate, then there is a mall. So idea is, if I'm going to the mall, can I use the corporate parking
Correct.
or the society parking which is nearby?
So when you thought of Park Plus as the idea, as the solution for the car owners, how did it start?
So I think it started with my Paytm experience here.
Okay.
I used to work at Noida, and there are limited parking spaces available in the office. So every morning you'll first come to the office, you'll ask the guard, "Bhaiya jagah hai kya andar?" He'll look at your face and then he'll say, "Nahi hai jagah." Then you again take a U-turn and go and park on the road.
Right.
And every 3 hours, 4 hours,
You worried.
you'll come down just to make sure that car hai na khadi.
Right. Right.
When we are doing everything online, is it possible? Can I open the app? It tells
Right.
me whether there are parkings available in the office, whether there are parking available nearby. I straight away go to that place,
Right.
park it, and then walk to my office.
The business caters to an unorganized sector. So how did you get the courage कि मुझे इधर पे ही काम करने का है?
This parking is a perishable commodity.
Right.
Now, that guy also requires business.
Right.
Now, if you are able to drive more customers to him, he is happy.
Right.
Like the office parkings might be available busy in the weekday or the daytime, but in the evening he requires more business. So if I can generate more business for the same slot, the guy is happy working with me. Obviously, these guys had not experienced technology earlier.
Right.
Parking has been one of those spaces where the payment used to be still cash till the time Park Plus came in. And what we were able to solve, for example, we integrated FASTag in the most of the malls. If you go to any of the malls in NCR, Mumbai, or chances Bangalore, you can just seamlessly enter and seamlessly get out without stopping for taking a parchi.
And saves time. So a boy hailing from Churu in Rajasthan went to IIM Ahmedabad, took probably the less taken road of startups. What was the thought process of yours back then? Right.
Normally, people at that time were all my batchmates were more in like banker banna hai, consultant banna hai.
Correct.
But I think somehow I come from a small business setup.
Right.
So idea was always like business karna hai. At that time, internet was just starting up, and I reached out to Deep. Deep Kalra is the Make My Trip founder.
Okay.
He was kind enough to tell me ki chal aaja. Later on, he told me ki he never thought an IMA guy would come at that time.
Sir, how were the sentiments back then?
That was some fairly negative sentiments. In fact, I have met a number of people who asked me कि IMA correspondence से किया है क्या? Because like अगर आपने full time किया है तो आप banker क्यों नहीं बने हो?
Right.
In fact, my father-in-law sent a couple of guys to check at Make My Trip office कि ये करते क्या है.
Since we talked about Make My Trip Paytm, you have worked there. So how has the previous work experience helped you with Park Plus journey?
I would recommend people to work in fast-growing startups before they start up.
Okay.
For me, I have been part of 3 fairly sizable startups when I joined when they were very small. First Make My Trip, then Paytm, and then I went to Indonesia to work with a company called Tokopedia,
Right.
which is equivalent of Flipkart of Indonesia.
Okay.
So, for example, Make My Trip helped me, and that was the first time I led a team. That time,
Okay.
first time I built an annual operating plan, etc.
Right.
Delegation, etc. That's what Make My Trip taught me. And then Paytm, I learned hunger, I learned scale, and I finally visualized a product or built a product which was used by everyone in India.
Right.
Like earlier we used to think that only the small section of Indian population will use internet products.
Correct.
But like Paytm taught me that if you look at end to end, like everybody, even a pan wala, chai wala, in fact, Paytm was a product
Right.
built for your
Okay.
chai wala downstairs,
Right.
your ability to show
I'm
him
also
ki, sir.
using-
And then I went to Indonesia, again, very, very unfamiliar territory, I'll put it that way. First
Right.
time I worked outside India. But in 2.5 years, I built a fairly sizable business.
Right.
And again, showed that first principle thinking, if you think of what is the problem, think of customer obsession, तो मतलब चीज़ें अच्छी बन के आती है.
What were the biggest challenges in sub startups में?
So I think as that point of time, मतलब सबसे पहला तो यही है कि मतलब क्या बनाना क्या है.
Right.
See, the problem statement itself is not clear. You are trying to figure out your path. You are trying to figure out कि क्या ये workout होगा, क्या ये workout नहीं होगा. The second biggest problem is building a team.
Correct.
See, startups, the journeys are ups and downs.
Right.
And a lot of people at that time would ask you कि company कब तक salary दे पाएगी, नहीं दे
Right.
पाएगी. At that time, a lot of people were getting married.
Correct.
So at that time, they were like, यार family को बोलूँ कि नहीं बोलूँ कि startup
Right.
कर रहा हूँ.
Right.
Those kind of things, and then the ecosystem challenges and everything.
Okay. Talking about Park Plus, what exactly is the revenue model and which vertical you think is one of the biggest revenue generator for the company?
So जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि at Park Plus we are trying to bring delight from a car ownership point of view. Some of our businesses are very, very sizable.
Right.
You will see Park Plus boom barriers across everywhere. We would have barriers at now 10,000 plus locations across
Okay.
country. That business forms close to about 50-60% of our revenue. FASTag, we are again
Right.
among the biggest distributors of FASTag in the country. We partnered with 8-9 banks.
Right.
Largest partner for all those banks. Then we talk about petrol, like you get India का सबसे सस्ता petrol on Park Plus, so you should try out. Like,
That was
next
one
time.
of my questions, that India का सबसे सस्ता petrol. If you could just break it down for us.
So what happened is we have partnered with IOCL, and with IOCL offers some level of discounts because there is a loyalty program involved. So आपने यहाँ 2,000 रुपये का वाउचर खरीदा ऐप पे, उसमें आपको 20 रुपये का डिस्काउंट मिला.
Right.
आप पेट्रोल पंप पे गए, आपने वाउचर रिडीम किया.
Okay.
It is very transparent kind of a.
Park Plus hosts 1.5 crore users on its platform, and it says that it's the largest community of car owners.
हाँ, so इंडिया में टोटल 4-4.5 करोड़ कार ओनर्स है.
Correct.
So which would mean roughly every third car owner in India
Right.
is today on Park Plus. So that's very, very sizable, and multiple तरीके when we started. Actually, we started with parking as the first use case.
Right. Right.
And just after 2 months of raising capital, COVID happened, lockdown happened,
God.
the cars were not going out.
Right.
So nobody needed a parking actually. करें क्या आप?
Right.
So then we figured out the new use cases around access control, then FASTag, car wash, challans. Then the parking came in back, and now things around new car discovery. You can discover a new car on Park Plus. You can figure out where to get your car serviced on Park Plus, get loans on Park Plus. So completing the whole journey that has taken us last 4.5 years.
Park Plus, just started off with the photo in parking, and then lockdown happened. How did you feel as a founder? What were the challenges? And personally, how did you feel? How will you tell the team कि हम कर लेंगे and all that happening?
It was shocking. Like you don't even have an answer. The problem with the problem this was that you don't even have a clarity कि ये कब दोबारा शुरू होगा.
Right, right.
Like everything, like एक हफ्ता बंद है, 2 हफ्ता बंद है, 3 months का तो लॉकडाउन था.
Correct.
उसके बाद everything is working from home and so on and so forth.
Right.
So some of the things from my side were very clear. We didn't want to fire people. So we had that time 50-60 people.
Okay.
So like how do you make people productive? And
Right.
people sitting at home thinking of I'm working for a company which is in the car space, parking space.
Parking is the forte.
And ये तो
कार
जरूरत ही
ही
नहीं है.
Correct.
How do you tell them that we are able to create new solutions, go out where we
Correct.
think if the employee is productive, the team member is productive, he should be getting a chance. It is my role to figure out what he should work on.
So was it the biggest challenge as a founder?
Yeah, because suddenly there is no idea left in the
Right.
business. पता ही नहीं करना क्या है.
Gurugram Traffic Police के साथ we launched a campaign which was Make Gurugram Roads Safe. So what was it? What was the idea behind it?
So I think one of the things that Park Plus has focused from beginning is to be having socially responsible. Like before I talk about the Gurugram Police campaign, I'll talk about the vaccination drives that we did. So in Gurugram, like when the COVID happened and people were not going to hospitals to get the vaccines done,
Right.
we organized lots and lots of vaccination drives in your car itself. So
Oh.
there is a vaccination camp happening in a mall. You go in your car, wait in your car. When your turn comes, you take the vaccine and you go home.
Okay.
So like I think at that time, Gurgaon, Noida, Bombay, we got like 25-30,000 people vaccinated at that point of time. And I'm glad that my team members were able to execute that, putting their own
Life at risk.
at that point of time. And the same thing that we continued with like the Gurgaon Traffic Police. So idea was like basic safety, don't drink and drive, wear helmets while you are driving, wear
Right.
seat belts, follow
Traffic rules.
traffic rules and everything. But we did it in a very interesting way where one of our team members, Divya, he's a tall guy and healthy guy. So
Right.
he acted like a Yamraj.
Okay.
And incidentally, while Yamraj is a god of death,
Right.
here was the guy who was saying, I don't want your life. Please be careful about how you are driving.
That's a unique idea. Park Place EV charging stations. What exactly is it? How many are there? And what is the future plan for it?
See, actually, EV, there is a double problem.
Correct.
As a user, I have a range anxiety. But as a CPO, somebody who's putting in the chargers,
Yes.
he's saying, मेरे charger utilize ही नहीं हो रहे.
Correct.
And there is a capex to put in.
Right.
So, how do we help? See,
Right.
one is we are there in almost all top societies, corporates, malls. So, and this is the place where the car comes in.
Correct.
It starts with your society or your home and ends up in your office, mall, hotel, etc. So
Right.
both the endpoints are on Park Plus.
Correct.
So it became very easy for us to go to CPOs and said this society has 30 EV cars, this has 50 EV cars, this has 100 EV cars. So if you put your chargers here, it will get utilized. We have put in close to about 1,000 plus EV chargers
Okay.
over a period of last 2 years. And the number is only scaling. And now as we add those things in the app as well, so gradually you'll be able to discover your nearest charging station
Charging station.
in
That
the
would be
app
helpful.
itself.
Park Place was recognized as Forbes Asia 50 Plus Startup 2022. How did it feel?
So I think all these recognitions like help in like more at a, like the external world validation.
Right.
Saying there is a problem, somebody is putting in effort, a team there is a doing in, and probably the right way of solving it. 3 years back, 2 years back, I'll put it that way, most of the people would not even understand what Park Plus does because we do multiple things on the car space together.
Correct.
Today you see Park Plus everywhere.
Right.
Matlab we have 7 lakh reviews on the App Store now.
Okay.
We are 4.6 star rated app. Matlab like we are the highest downloaded, highest reviewed, highest rated, highest used car app in the country.
Right.
So, and this is doing without any marketing. And that's how you win the loyalty.
So who are your competitors?
See,
Or
I
is it a
think,
monopoly?
see, the way I have always built businesses to focus on consumers.
Right.
Finally, it's the consumers who pay, the competitors don't pay. So the idea is always about focusing obsessively on the customer, this thing, and like anybody who can deliver a better product experience than me to the customers, he deserves to take the customers.
Which is the most used service of Pack Plus?
See, it depends on user to user. For a lot of user, our access control solution would be the most used service.
Okay.
Some folks would use, like for example, fuel is once in a week kind of a service.
Correct.
FASTag is, for example, once in a month kind of a service. So
True.
depending on the user to user, the service.
And the usage. How often do you use Pack Plus?
See,
Personally.
so I think typically like roughly maybe once every 2 days.
Once every 2. What is the vision of the company for next 5 to 10 years?
So I think, as we said, the mission is to bring delight back to car ownership.
Right.
Car is an expensive asset.
Right.
You feel emotionally attached to it.
Definitely.
You weren't happy with the experience, day-to-day ownership experience. With Park Plus, the idea is to keep going deeper into the auto space and make sure, like right now, we are at a 1.5 crore customers, gradually go to 3.5, 4 crore customers in India, add more use cases around car, make a very, very strong product. And then I think the opportunity is to go global. There is
Right.
no similar product globally. In fact, this is one of the challenges which I faced when I started.
Right.
Like everywhere when you talk about Flipkart, there is Amazon where you talk about, like something is
Right,
there
right,
globally.
Right.
There is no car, super app for cars globally.
Right.
But the car owner problems globally is the same.
Right.
So we think we have an opportunity to go global as well. So,
Are there any specific cities right now in India that you're planning to tap upon?
see, we are already there in close to about 30-35 cities.
Okay.
And we think actually there are massive tailwinds in the business.
Right.
मतलब gated societies हर जगह बढ़ रही है. अगर आप
Right.
छोटे towns में भी जाओ, मतलब
Yes.
places like भिलवाड़ा, जबलपुर, etc. इन जगहों पे भी अब gated societies आ
Right.
रही
The
है.
flats.
हाँ वही gated बन रहा है, हर किसी को वैसे
Correct,
रहना है.
correct.
कार ओनरशिप बढ़ रही है.
Right. Last question that I have for you, which is a patent one. What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who's just starting out?
I think multiple things. First of all, I think it takes time to build business in India.
Right.
I think you need to be that patient. You need to keep your head down, keep working, etc. every single day. That is the first thing. Second thing is because it is going to take time. Like, are you mentally prepared, financially prepared to make sure that you have that longer runway?
Right.
You can't say after 2 years, "Sab to nahi ho raha." Matlab, you have
True.
to keep going. The third part is, like as I said in the beginning, it is always better to join a growing startup, build
Right.
that level of experience, get some level of understanding before starting on your own.
Right.
So these are the primarily three things. And fourth thing I think is more around like, is the customer ready
Happy.
to accept your product? Is the
Happy.
experience is very good, and is he ready to pay for it?
Right.
So if the customer is not ready, then everything else will go for a toss. So
Right.
as a entrepreneur, your ability to figure out what is the product that the customer likes, why would he pay for it,
Correct.
why would he stick to it? I think figuring that PMF is the most important thing.
Could you talk about the partnership that Park Plus has and its relation with the government?
I think we work very, very closely with the government. Like we talked about the Gurgaon initiative earlier.
Correct.
Now we are, for example, in the Best in Bombay, we worked with them to like showcase their bus depots as a parking spot in the daytime.
Okay.
The buses have gone out,
Right.
the space is empty.
Right.
Somebody coming to that area, can that guy park into the best
Right.
bus depot?
Right.
So we drive a lot of traffic there. We generate
Right.
revenue for them as well as we make lives easier.
Okay.
Similarly, if you look at places like Vrindavan, like now the people can discover parkings online, book online.
Right.
If you look at Delhi, we have worked with DTC and the ISBT to make some of the parking charging cashless.
Okay.
The buses which used to come from outside Delhi, now they are able to pay through FASTag.
Right.
So some of these initiatives that we have already done, and like it's actually for a government is a massive problem. Like if you look at it, Delhi police gets 250 calls a day on parking zone front.
That is one question. Delhi police gets 250 calls a day to Park Plus.
So they published this number 2 years back,
Okay.
saying people will call up, they will fight and say police को बुला लो, and police
Okay.
can't do anything.
Right.
दो घर के लोगों के रोड पे पार्किंग के लिए झगड़ रहे हैं, there is just
Right.
no way out.
Okay.
So idea is like, see, in India, if you build a system which is helpful for people, people will adopt it.
Right.
So that's something where we work very, very closely with multiple government bodies. And there is a lot of, like we talked about, so many deaths happening on the road. So gradually, is it possible for us
Right.
to deliver ambulances in 10 minutes at some point of time.
That is a
Those
great
kind-
initiative and idea
हाँ.
to work upon. That was Amit Lakhotia, founder and CEO Park Plus. We'll meet you in the next episode of CXO Mantra. Until then, keep watching Zee Business.